fuck with snowboarding out there at all? Was that ever your?
I've never snowboarded in my life. Like I've only skated. Like, but here's an interesting thing. Like I never played any sports or anything. Like I think I learned how to ride a bike, and then I saw a skateboard, and it was like all I ever wanted to do. And the longest gaps that I've had, like in skateboarding, like I didn't skate when I was strung out on drugs. That I did skate a little bit. There'd be a board around here and there, and I'd skate a little bit. But that period of time was like the longest I went without skating. I often forget that I'm in my 40s, and I'll be talking to someone like, "Oh yeah, you remember like this?" And they're like, "I'm not," and they're like, "Oh shit, like you weren't even born then." Like that's crazy, you know. And to think like I have like skateboards hanging in my room in here that are like older than the people that I skate with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sick.
Like, it's weird. It's weird to think that, you know.
I was at a show one time in Boston, and it was like it was H2O, and the guitar. I don't know what the context was, but there was this kid, and like it just became a quotable thing with me and my friends because the guitar player he goes, "I got T-shirts older than you," and it's like it's fucking true. Like you probably have T-shirts that are older than like some people that you know and hang out with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it's wild. I've never seen anything else like that. Like guys that play basketball, like after you're like reach like 25, 30, you're like not out there shooting hoops with the kids anymore. Like you stop doing that at some point. You know what I mean? Like you're like the kids that play baseball, like once they like there's not like kids aren't getting together in the neighborhood with like 40, 50, you know what I mean, year olds and like playing baseball. Like it only happens with skating. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like people are like being forced to go out there and do it or whatever. It's like we choose to go out and do this. And you like look around, like next time you're at the skate park, like look around, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not league night or whatever. Or
this thing, like it's this weird object that I have like in common with all these people from all these different age groups or different genders or like race, ethnicities. Like it's just like there's no like anyone can do this, you know what I'm saying? And like with the internet, you're like, what's really stoked me out about it is like seeing these guys that like have like they'll have like a prosthetic limb, you know, and you see these guys and they're skating with prosthetic limbs. And then you see the guy that rides for Birdhouse and he doesn't have any legs and like
that dude is so rad.
Yeah. You see the dudes that like lost their vision and they skate with like blind canes. You know what I mean? You see all these people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like this thing that like brings it can, because like I watched the episode with Ronnie, like, and how like John said that like, oh, I thought like skateboarding was this thing, like we couldn't be like, you know, racist or whatever, or homophobe, you know what I mean? But then you kind of you realize like there are people in skateboarding that are like hateful jerks or whatever. But for the most part, I feel like it's like a real positive thing. And I see this like community of people where it's like, you know, like most of my life, like growing up as a kid, like it was always like, Lee, you can't do this because like you have this like, you know, like you're not going to be able to do all the things that the other people do. Like my dad was told like when I was a kid, like before I could walk, like, by the doctors, like, oh, he'll never walk, you know, like he's not going to walk normal. Like he's going to have like all this stuff. And like, you might as well like amputate that leg now. And my dad was just kind of like he was like, nah, that's like a little early to do that. You know, like we'll wait it out, you know, and like time went by and like, I was like figuring out how to walk, you know, and like next time we went to that doctor, like my dad carried me in, and then so like he waited till like he seen that doctor and he put me down, you know, and I guess I like walked over somewhere and the doctor like freaked out, like, oh my God, it's a miracle, you know, like no way, like you can't be walking, it's a miracle, you know. My dad was just like, yeah, like we he said he immediately stopped taking me to see that doctor. People like to point out like what you can't do, you know? And then like when I started skating, like I started skating with other kids and stuff, and it was never like, oh, you can't do that. It was like when I did do something, it was like, hell yeah, that was sick. Like, you know, like we're like doing it, you know? And so like, I always like that about skating. Like, it's not like people aren't really looking at you being like, oh, you have this wrong with you, so you can't do that. You know, it's like whatever, however you can do it, you know what I mean? Do it.
Do whatever you can do and like just have fun doing it. It's like, dude, honestly, it's like that's fucking beautiful, man.
I never like thought that I was like good at skateboarding, you know what I mean? But like it's always been like just it's been like a positive thing in my life, like, you know what I mean? Like,
do you have an all-time favorite curb skater?
On the Cerro, Danny Sargent. I don't know if I have like one favorite dude, but I mean, I guess it would be Jason Adams, Ricky Barnes, Jeff Hartzell was a good curb skater. I mean, it'd be hard to narrow down like one favorite dude that skated curbs, because I feel like, but I mean, if I had to, I'd say Jason Adams.
Yeah. Well, you fucking have to. No, I'm just kidding. Oh shit. So is there anything, what do you want to say to yourself, myself, Simon, and the universe as we mellow out this interview?
Damn.
It's just a light, breezy question, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. The rules that were put in place by whoever put these rules in place, like what was cool for so long, you know, like in the early 90s, we have to flip our boards this way, and like your skateboard has to look this way, and you have to like, I like seeing all that like deteriorate, because like there are no rules. And that's the thing, is like the minute that you step on this thing, it's like a time warp. I'm like that same 9-10-year-old kid like rolling around my neighborhood the first time. It's like that same feeling again, you know, you get it. You just riding home from the bus stop, you know what I mean? Like just bombing the hill from the bus stop, like is like that, you get that feeling of like, I mean, I think it probably happens to everyone. Like you get that fond memory of like, oh, this feeling. It's just like, I don't know. It's undescribable.
It teaches you. I feel like skaters can live in the moment a lot more than regular people, because like when you're skating, like how long does like 45 seconds feel? You know what I mean? When you're skating, like 45 seconds is a long time. It could be like 7 tricks or something. And like all the mechanics and all the everything that's happening in your nervous system and all that shit within that 45 seconds, it's like, I don't think regular people experience that like sort of time expand and contract like that, whereas like a skateboard will do that. So it's like a time warp that brings you back to when you're a kid, but it's also like a time manipulator that, like, you know what I mean? It really makes you value and understand how long 1 second is in life, and like how precious every second is.
If you've ever tried to put a video part together, it's like a clip, like a trick, it's just like a snap of a finger. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, bam. And then you're like, wow, I have 3 whole minutes that I'm supposed to have. Like,
that's a lot of snaps.
How do I do that? You know, that's a lot of snaps. Like, how do I do that? But the act of skating is one thing, but then there's like a whole community thing, and having like a community of people that you can kind of relate with. You know, I could relate to other skateboarders for some reason. You know, like in school. You know, like in high school, like, or junior high. Like, I didn't really care about what I knew that kids thought whatever, you know, and they would say stuff, or like be, you know, mean. But like, it was weird. It was like I almost like didn't care because they didn't skate. You know what I mean? I was like I don't care what that jock thinks. Like, the thing when you're a kid, you just want like you want to belong to something so bad. And like, I found this thing that I did belong to, you know, and like, it's been with me this whole time. And that's the reason why I post so much on my social media, is because like when my close people, they see me posting those videos, it's not because like I think I'm good at skateboarding, or I'm not doing that. It's like a postcard to my friends,
man.
so that they know.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm doing that, then they know that I'm not like doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if I feel real weird about that, about posting so much on social media, because I don't want people to think like that guy thinks he's good at skateboarding. By no means do I like, am I like making this content so that people will like, you know, think that I'm good at skateboarding or whatever.
And I can relate, you know, it's like, it's like I'll post videos of myself doing crappy little tricks, and it's not like, yo, check me out. It's more like, I'm here to fucking represent for skateboarding. This has been my whole life. And when I was a kid, I didn't have a video camera. And when I was 35, I fucking broke my back. So I was told I was never fucking gonna skate again. So it was like, to come back from that at the time when Instagram was kind of popping off, and then Seattle Collision Curb Club, all this stuff, is like, fucking dude, I don't, if you think it's lame or something about me posting some shit makes you uncomfortable, that's a YP. That's not an MP. That's your fucking problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And it's not to be aggressive. It's just like, get over it, you know, like, or like, why don't you post something sicker and I'll fucking like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You know, I'm here for skateboarding, and because skateboarding is here for me.
To me, it's just like a digital postcard. It's like, I'm going to document the session and document this trick that like maybe I did work on, and I am proud of this trick or whatever it is, you know, like.
So I think like skateboarders, we have this thing where no one wants to claim that they're rad, or no, there's like this thing, everyone wants to downplay. No one wants to say that they're good. It's like kind of like everything has to be low key or something. So if anyone watching this, just like to set the record straight, like, you are rad and you are good at skateboarding, and it's like the footage will show it, you know, like that's I admire your skating, and I know there's one thing I know, it's skateboarding, and I'm a fan of your skateboarding, sir.
I appreciate that. I don't know. I want to document tricks and like be my people to see that I'm doing good, you know, like the times where like I wasn't skating and like the people that cared about me had to worry the most. Like, I don't want them to feel like that, you know? And so if like me going out and filming myself doing slappies, like puts people at ease, or like, you know, or if it's like making other people be like, oh, that guy's like around my age, you know, and he's out there doing that. Like, I can do that. And that's another thing that I've seen that's good about the Curb Critters thing, you know. So like it brings people together, like people are meeting up in their towns, you know, and it's like, that's pretty neat. I'm stoked to be 42, or I'll be 42 this year, and still like able to for the most part like do what I want on my skateboard, like, you know.
That's amazing.
Once I got, because I had these phases of life where it was like the rebuild phase, where it's like, what did I do before drinking and drugs? Like, who was I before I picked up the drugs and the bottle? Like, I used to skateboard all the time, but then I start to realize like I have all this like time that I lost, and so like I'm like, time's like moved on, and I've like kind of stayed still, like in this bubble that I was in, you know, and people were like doing things, and like things were happening, you know, videos were being put out, and people were getting photos, and like here I am like hiding out like in a room with like a bunch of people that I don't really want to be around, but what like the thing that I have in common with them is like we're trying to consume the same poison, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used like skateboarding kind of like people in recovery will like use AA or NA. It's therapeutic.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
It's one of those, it's one of the things that like I had in my life that was like positive as I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was like this positive thing that I had, like, because things at home weren't great, you know. So I had skateboarding out with my friends and we'd build like a ramp or whatever and try to jump off it, you know, whatever you do
Yeah.
as a kid. And then you, and like, and then I went through all this like other stuff that I kind of put myself through. But then, like, once I was able to come back and like immerse myself back into this like positive thing that ultimately kept me from like going back and like doing things I would later regret, you know. I used to go to jail all the time, you know, and do little random stints in county jail and whatever, you know what I mean? Generally, when I do something, I'm not going to get it right the first time. And if I do get it right the first time, it's like some weird fluke and I could try it over and over again and to recreate it. That's probably not going to happen. And I'll have to come back the next day, you know, or whatever.
Or maybe it's not worth
is.
it. If you do it the first time, like, it's like, yeah, like, where's the fun? Like, where's the satisfaction? And I'm not talking about tricks, because it's rad if you could just do a trick, like, and nail it. That feels good. But I'm just saying, like, the life lesson aspect, like, where's the anything worth having is worth fighting for, I guess. You know?
If I make a mistake on my skateboard, it's just like a lesson. You know what I mean? A mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it, you know? So if you learn from your mistake, it becomes a lesson. So like you're just like teaching yourself. So the lesson of skating is like, if you don't land your trick, you're going to get up and try it again, you know, until you get it. It's not worth like beating yourself up over. When you make a mistake, it's generally like, it's kind of like meditation. Like if you're trying to meditate and there's like a loud noise, like a car honking or like, you know, a dog barking or whatever. And like you'll like take note of it, but then like let it go. You know what I mean? I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to like beat myself up over it. You know what I mean? And next time that I'm faced with that, like I won't do it that way. Do you ever try to like do a skateboard trick and you feel like you're focusing too hard on it and it like makes you not able to do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes I'll have to like tell myself like, don't think about it so hard and like just focus on your breath and like slow down, you know, like crazy stuff, you know.
I appreciate your time and like all your like just, you know, your openness and like, you know, like thanks for fucking with us. You know,
you know, like maybe there's a dude out there, a person. I shouldn't say dude, but maybe there's a person out there, you know, and they're battling with addiction, and they think that it's impossible. And I'm here to say like it's not. Like you can do it. If I can do it, I think that anybody could do it because I was in bad shape for you know a decent amount of time and I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of person. Like when I get into something, I'm just, you know, for a long time, I was convinced that there was no other way, you know, and that I just had to be that way. So I don't know, hopefully, you know, somebody hears that and they're like, they realize that it's possible. Skating's way better than drugs, you know? And I've definitely felt way higher from like skating, you know, like than I ever felt from any substance, you know. So skating feels better. And when I came back to skating, I was like, there's a long time where I was like, dude, like I basically stole like a good amount of years from myself where like I could have been like all the stuff I'm doing now, like I could have been doing that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like new to me now because I was over here. It's like that show. I think it's called Strangers with Candy, where the lady was like some party animal lady, you know, and then she like comes back and she's like trying to go to high school, you know. She's like some 4-year-old woman.
Which is a greater loss? I don't know.
She's all gnarly.
Bring
like that's kind of what I felt like, you know. everyone else like went on and like now they have careers and like the dudes that I grew up with, like some of these guys, like they quit skating, like went out into the world, had like families, got careers, like those stuff, and then they came back to skateboarding.
They
And
always
so
go back.
yeah, but then like it's weird because like I'm over here like, oh fuck, like this dude like owns a house and like fucking does, and here I am like living in a little room that I've rented. It's just like my life is funny, and it's like it's too short to like really dwell and like worry about maybe what you've done wrong, as opposed to like sometimes it's good to like hey dude, you like you made it.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know you other than just talking to you now and stuff. And it's like, based on what you're saying and what like I've gleaned about your stories, like I could say from like one skater to another, one human to another, it's like, I'm proud of you, dude. You know what I mean?
Likewise.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And that's real shit. It is inspiring.
That's the hardest thing is to like see someone go through that and be like, I can't do anything to help you unless the person wants to like change and do it. Like it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to like want that too.
Do you have any closing thoughts or comments for Lee and the good people, for the 6 people that are watching this?
Yeah, of course. Always a pleasure, man. I'm so excited to meet you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's inspiring.
Skating's always going to be like the coolest thing in my eyes. Even when I can't do it anymore, you'll still like have that thing where you're driving in the car, riding the bus, you're looking out the window and I could skate that. Then no, that wouldn't work. Oh, that's skatable. It's like you're like scanning the landscape. I've talked to like so many different skateboarders and they're like, dude, I do the same thing and I've done it since I was like a little kid. And like,
yeah. I always ask people when they say that they used to skate, I always ask them if they still look at spots and they always say yes. Like that,
yeah.
That never goes away. That skater's eye, it doesn't really go away. For people like us, it's obvious. It's like you've been skating your whole life. I've been skating my whole life. It's like, duh. But like people that like quit skating 10 years ago and they're like in finance now, they're like at the red light, still like eyeballing the fucking set of stairs. You know what I mean? And that's just like, how influential is that? Like fuck.
There's dudes like sitting in church, like looking at the big cathedral ceiling, just thinking, man, if this place ever flipped upside down, like, man, that just makes the coolest transition up there,
Yeah, man.
It's just one of those things. You're always gonna look like, it's just gonna be that thing. Like even if you can't skate, you're gonna think like, I wonder if anybody's ever jumped off into that thing on a skateboard or whatever, like it's just, I don't know, it's sick. And it is one of those things that like, with getting now there's a time where like I'm like I worry about not being able to skateboard, so I don't want to get injured now. I feel like sometimes I'm like extra cautious or like I have this element of fear that I didn't have before, because it was like whatever, I'll get hurt and I'll heal and it'll be good. But now I have this thing where it's like, you're getting up in your 40s, Lee, and you probably shouldn't drop in on that big giant bull like that or whatever. And so like now I'm just like, I just want to skate weird little tight transitions and curbs, and that's about it. And I enjoy skating with my friends. I have a kid that skates too, and he's a little ripper. Yeah. And so like getting to see like getting to watch him, like, because we live in different states, so getting to watch him like figure things out, because he's just like figuring it out. Like he'll ask questions or whatever and I'll tell him, but like he's really just figured it out on his own, to where like when he like came here and just from like skating Ravenna, like by the time he left he was doing like 3-4 cars parking spot, Slappy. Came to Seattle and like just wanted to hang out and skate what I skate. I don't know, it's just rad because I can see like little parts of my style and his skating, even though we have opposite stances and he's goofy and I'm regular, and you know, but I can see like in his push, like oh, I see that.
You want to?
Yeah!